Oh, Lord, that was abrupt.
Ooh, Yaoi review.
Hi, everybody, it's Corbin, and today we are going to be talking about Lover's Pledge by Kae Maruya. Anyway, we'll read the back, we shall delve into it and get into the nitty-gritty. Kazuto loves being the life of the party, even when he can't remember his wild night once the sun rises. But who's this strange man curled up in his bed? It turns out that the scabby Kazuto has been purchased by the suave and successful Tagashigi for the entire month. This whole relationship is just a paid transaction. So why does Kazuto's heart race every time he looks at Katsuragi's sweet, intense eyes? Everyone knows that you shouldn't mix business with pleasure, but these two men will have a hard time playing by the rules if they let their bodies take control. Lover's Pledge explores a special bond between boys who are figuring out how to be young men. Sometimes childhood companions turn into the only person who truly understands your secret wishes, and a stern and serious coach can show you how to fight for happiness you deserve. No matter what hardships they survive, the men in Love's Pledge prove that the best way to find the love of your life is to follow your instincts and trust that your wildest dreams can come true. Alright, so to start off with, this yaoi, this yaoi's art style in general, it's all this kind of, I don't want to call it it's a dated traditional anime manga style. So there isn't anything too special about it. It reminds me a lot of how Gundam Seed is done, the anime style for that. And I enjoy that style a lot. I think I just enjoy it a lot. I don't know how to explain that. So I love the art style in this. It's actually one of my favorite things in this yaoi altogether. Sorry about the sun. I'm kind of hitting this a little late in the day. So this is one of my favorite yaoi's art styles in this. So that helps this out a lot. Now, this contains 3 stories. The first one is the title story, which is Lover's Pledge. Alright, which is 2 chapters long. It's Lover's Pledge, and then I don't remember what the second chapter is called. But in the first title story, it is pretty much a man rents himself out to be a companion for a month. There is no hanky-panky involved until the last day of that contract, and that's because the guy admits that he's madly in love with the businessman. And then we'd see the struggle of the businessman and the boy who worked at a convenience store's relationship in the second story. It ends very abruptly. They admit that they love each other in the end, and that's where they cut it off. So that really bugged me about the first story. There was no hint of what was going to happen afterward. There was no inkling. It was just a very abrupt boom, and it was over. Alright, then the next story after that, let me see what it was called, because I don't remember. Prescription for a Kiss. Now, Prescription for a Kiss is a coming-of-age story, if I remember correctly. I believe, yes, Prescription for a Kiss is a coming-of-age story which involves 2 neighbors. The 2 boys grew up together. One of them is the perfect kind of vice president to the school sort of thing. The other one is kind of the rebellious kind of boy, and they've been friends since childhood, when one would constantly be left home alone and the other would be home with his parents. And they just developed a friendship because the boy needed a friend because he was always alone. So that one follows a fairly traditional trail. Boy has feelings for boy. Boy doesn't know how to explain his feelings to the other boy, so denies them. The other boy is a womanizer. And then eventually they fall madly and passionately in love and realize they've always needed each other. It runs roughly par for course. It even does the whole hokey, they've kissed many times before kind of plot line that seems to happen a lot with coming-of-age stories in yaois. So, I mean, it was very traditional, but it was very enjoyable to read. I will say that. Very, very enjoyable to read. And that one was also 2 chapters long. Then the last one was called Too Close for Love. Now, that one, though traditional, was very untraditional. That one involved what felt like 2 high school boys falling in love. That one was the only story that didn't have sex. The other 2 did. So, with that story, it one of the boys' parents had died when they were little, and the other boy was always there to protect him, and to love him, and to comfort him, and to be there kind of like a coach. Now, I will say right off the bat that the last story is one of my favorites. It has good pacing, has good timing. It's fairly non-traditional in a weird way. It kind of devolves from the traditional realm when we see the fact that, yes, the boy is struggling with his sexuality, but at the same time, he openly accepts that he loves this guy. He just doesn't know how to explain it. So that I liked a lot. It ends actually really, really well. It gives you a nice beginning, middle, and end. Same thing with the second story. It had a good beginning, middle, end. The first story didn't really have... It had a beginning, a middle, and then an end. So I just... This was an amazing yaoi overall. I would highly recommend it. It would be a great addition to anyone's collection. My issue with it is that the first story, the title story, didn't have a good enough ending for me. It left me wondering what happened to them. Whereas with the other two stories, I knew exactly how they should end, and they ended that way. So, yeah. I guess that's my hang-up with it. I gave it a 4.5 out of 5. It's closer to a 4, but it's close enough to 4.5 for me that, I mean, I liked it. I really did. And I would encourage you guys to check it out. Look for it online. Lover's Pledge was actually really, really good in a lot of ways. It's just, the first story just felt really abrupt to me. So, yeah, share this with a friend who likes yaoi, and let me know down below what yaoi I should read next. I know I need to get back to reading Devil and the Realist soon, and I'm excited for that one because it was getting really good. So, yeah, I will talk to you guys later. Bye.
You like what you see? Then...
subscribe!